Tell me if this is a common sight. It's down, ears plugged in, and hands typing away at whatever phone, tablet, some portable form of technology that they would have at any point of their day. Is that too common of a sight? We asked some random individuals to see from their point of view if that is an issue. Do you think that our society has become too reliant on technology?
I'd say so. I don't think that technology is a bad thing at all. I think it's fantastic. I'm more focused on the social media aspect of that. I think that social media it's really great, but it's not necessarily a substitute for face-to-face interaction. So I would say in that sense it is over reliant. But I think technology is fine.
I believe it's necessary to be a bit reliant to technology, but I don't think we're too reliant.
I do. I think we depend too much on technology for knowledge. One example would be GPS, and a lot of people rely on that for directions rather than bother to learn them themselves. In the past, people just kind of knew the way around, but now they don't bother to learn. Same with just general information on Google, rather than trying to learn it themselves. People just depend on the computer, so I definitely think we're too reliant on technology.
Absolutely. It's almost scary how frequently people have to rely on technology for things that maybe 5 years ago we would do normally, like look up a question in a textbook.
Yes, I think so, because nowadays, like, no one talks to each other anymore because they all can, like, communicate on their phones.
So it seems that yes, this is an issue within our society. When asked if they were reliant on such electronic devices, the response was generally similar. Now, do you consider yourself to be reliant on technology?
Am I too? I've definitely become more reliant over the past year or so, but compared to a lot of other people I see, I'm still have a ways to go before I become far too reliant.
I use a lot of the internet, but otherwise, besides the internet, no, I don't think so.
I try not to be, but I think in essence I am. Whatever I Google or wherever I go, I try to learn as I go, but at the same time, it's inevitable that there is information that I'm not going to know and I'm going to forget. And I think that Google is there as my crutch, even though I don't necessarily want it to be.
But yes, as far as social media goes, I use it a lot, and probably more than I should. Google is a great tool though for school, and I don't think that that's bad. So I do use Google a lot.
Yes, definitely. I mean, I guess it depends on like what technology you're asking about, because some of it, like I had a smartphone recently. I guess that's one way I became too reliant on technology, because I wanted to stay communicated with people to like excessively, like on social networks and stuff, but otherwise not really.
How long do you think you spend on using electronic devices?
I'd say about 4 hours or less.
Maybe 4 hours.
5 hours a day.
Roughly about 8 to 9 hours, I guess.
Usually most, if not all, of the day is spent on a computer or a smartboard.
Around 18 hours.
Now, while talking face-to-face is still relevant, in this day and age, people have found other ways of communicating with one another that aren't quite so direct, and smartphones help and contribute in this endeavor. How often do you think you use your smartphone?
Not too often.
That's off and on, but I would probably say 2 hours.
I would say like about 2-3 hours. I don't try to use my smartphone a lot. I noticed I rely on it a lot, so I try not to use it.
A lot. I think that's another addiction of society. A lot of people are kind of hunched over like this most of the day rather than face-to-face talk, which is a problem, I think.
Now, while texting is a more quicker approach to sending one's message across, it is not quite like calling a person, where one can hear another's voice, hear another's mood, and another's attitude. Now, do you usually text or IM rather than call people?
Yes, most definitely. I think it's really sad, but calling people is just not a thing anymore. It's all about getting instant messaging. Yeah, I don't do that.
Yeah, I do. With a few exceptions. My close friends, I'll give a call, and that's nice.
I try to do both. I will say that I do call more often than a lot of people do, but very rarely do I ever receive calls. So I think the trend is nowadays just texting rather than just calling.
I actually very much prefer phone calls, and anyone who's like on my contacts will tell you it kind of annoys them because I'll constantly call people and they'll rather text me.
Progress does not have a habit of slowing down or turning back. And this is the case with our dependence and our reliance on technology. The only thing we can do now, going forward, is to hope that we can utilize these instruments to enhance our lives, not to lose connection, and not for our lives to simply revolve around them.